thank you very much for joining us. I'm here with Albert and Bea from the Catalan government. We're going to talk today about the background and some of the development work that went on in terms of the food loss policies that the Catalan government have developed. So the first thing I'd like to ask is, why was it that the Catalonian government chose to focus on preventing food loss?
So focusing on preventing food loss is because the prevention of food loss is essential for a more sustainable, fair and competitive food system. In Catalonia, we are trying to develop a food system that is sustainable, fair and competitive. And also because food loss is strictly linked to climate change, pressure on natural resources, and food security. And also on the other side, the agri-food sector in Catalonia is a very important, has a lot of influence, and so this became a strategic priority for the government.
Brilliant, that's great. And what would you say is the end goal of the development of this work?
The goal is to meet the European and international reduction targets for 2030 and to make Catalonia a leading region in this field. We also want the whole food chain to understand that the prevention improves sustainability and competitiveness.
That's great. And so you mentioned they're taking the whole food chain approach. Why was it, as you were developing this work, that you chose to focus on taking that whole food chain approach?
Yes, it's mainly because the causes of food loss are interconnected through the whole food supply chain and the food systems. A problem at one stage may be caused by decisions that are taken elsewhere in the chain. So looking at the whole system helps identify the real causes, but also provides solutions that are effective and that involucrates the whole food supply chain.
Perfect, that's great. So if you're involving everybody, could you tell us where you started? Where did you start?
To start the process in 2012, there was a study on food waste in Catalonia, and then was later included in the waste planning, followed by participation in European projects. Work on food loss and food waste strategy started in 2017, and the law was approved in 2020.
Yes, and in this process, we are now continuing on the development of the law and with a strategic plan that follows the law.
That's great, thank you. And there was a consultation phase with stakeholders. Could you tell us how that actually sort of worked in practice?
Yes, so the law, basically, we try to have the participation on the making of the law with the sector. So we knew we gathered all their consultations, and we gathered all the information that was needed to have a law that was implemented very effective and that everyone could feel that it was their own law. So what we did is with the participation of the main actors in the food chain, we had working groups, and we developed the law together. And then this broad consensus helped that the law was approved by unanimity in the parliament in Catalonia. And also then the stakeholders have also participated in different sessions of the development of the strategic plan on food waste reduction. So we try to have the stakeholders all along the political sessions.
That's great. That really brings everybody on board with the policy as it's developing. Were there any challenges along the way?
Yes, at first there was a very little data and limited knowledge about food loss and food waste. So that was the most important challenge, the beginning, exploring really what was the reality on this matter. And another challenge was explaining the responsibility is shared across the food chain. So we had to also show that measuring food loss is not about blaming anyone in particular, but to identifying what are the problems and to that way to make really an improvement on that issue.
That's great. It sounds like it's really had a lot of community involvement. And so, having developed the law, how has it sort of been enforced? Is it starting to have sort of an impact?
So the law was approved in 2020. Okay, but there's the need of a development with a degree of the law that specifically mentions how the obligations will take in place, how this will be in control. And right now there's been this working in progress with all the sector of how we do the development of this decree. But also, while we're doing this process, the national law in Spain has been approved, and we are also trying to. So we are in a time that we can still change a little bit our law to be able to adapt to the national law. So what we are doing now is trying to adapt a little bit before we implement the whole policy instrument. So right now it's in force, it's put in force, but we still need to work on the adaptation of the law in Spain. And once this will be done, then with also the strategic plan on food waste, we will try to put an objectives of 2030 on how to implement different actions to reduce food waste and food loss also.
Great, thank you. And part of what we've been talking about was about the lack of data at the beginning. Have you started to gather some useful data now?
So regarding the data, it's very difficult to still gather data on food loss. What we've been doing is since 2017 we have been doing studies on quantification of food loss and waste in different sectors. We do every year one different sector, and we try to have a whole picture of the food losses and waste at the food supply chain. And now, in the last year, we are starting to have another type of a study that is every year trying to have data on what's happening in the whole food supply chain for all the sectors. So now we will have data on food loss and waste for the upcoming years on food loss and waste along the food supply chain, and this will take us to be able to see if there's any changes while we implement different actions. So we'll see if we are reducing food loss in the upcoming years. But since this last year, we only had data like by sector, so we could not really be able to compare data every year for all the sectors.
I'm sure data will start to come through that will start to show an impact.
Yes.
And start to show
Exactly.
reductions in food loss. Yeah. So from here then, what are the next steps?
Okay, the next steps is to approve and implement the Catalan strategy plan. And we also continue developing practical tools, carrying out studies and improving data collection so we can monitor the progress over the time and have all the idea for the reduction.
That's great. Thank you both very much.